everyone, welcome to the session on mechanical vibrations. In this session, we will take up the topic of basic concepts of vibration. Next, we'll talk about the vibration parameters. A vibratory system in general includes a means for storing potential energy, spring or elasticity, a means for storing kinetic energy, mass or inertia, and a means by which energy is gradually lost, that is damper. So we need to understand that there are three vibration parameters. The first one is spring, which you must have seen attached to many of the instruments. You must have seen that in car there is a spring and a damper. There is a mass. The entire car, when we speak about it, is nothing but the mass. So apart from that, there are two more elements. One is the spring and the other is the damper. Now the function of the spring, as we know, is to absorb the energy and store inside as a potential energy. The mass is a kinetic energy. It is in the state of inertia, which means it will be either in motion or at rest. And damper, as I told you the example of the damper on the doors or the dashpot as it is called, is nothing but a mechanism by which you're absorbing the energy. These are the three parameters for any system. The vibration of a system involves the transfer of its potential energy to kinetic energy and of kinetic energy to potential energy alternately. If the system is damped, some energy is dissipated in each cycle of vibration and must be replaced by an external source if a state of steady vibration is to be maintained. So what happens is the spring is going to absorb the potential energy and then again it will release it in the form of kinetic energy, and the mass will also experience some kinetic energy and it will also store it as a potential energy and again give it back. So this process actually continues as the vehicle moves, and the damper's function is to absorb some amount of energy in every cycle of vibration, and this is required if you want to maintain a steady state of vibration. Otherwise you will have a random vibration coming in the system. Now we'll see what is damping. Resistance to the motion of the vibrating body is nothing but damping. Energy is dissipated in the system due to damping. This is how you show vibration parameters in the form of a spring, a mass and a damper. The mass will have some displacement when the force is acting on it. Both of them will be function of time. Now next we will see what is periodic motion. Periodic motion is a motion which repeats itself after equal intervals of time. Like you can see here, this kind of a wave in which you can see the amplitude is repeating after a particular period of time. Time period is a time taken to complete one cycle. So this is one cycle up to this point here. And then again one more cycle. So this is called as time period. You can see here from this point to this point is your time period. It is to be measured in seconds because it is time. Frequency is the number of cycles per unit time. So in a unit time, how many cycles are going to be completed is nothing but the frequency, and it is measured in hertz. Now this is one form of input. These two forms of input can also come to the system. This is called as ramp input and this is called as step input. Next we will see what is simple harmonic motion. It is called as SHM. A periodic motion of a particle whose acceleration is always directed towards the mean position and is proportional to its distance from the mean position. Like we saw in the case of a pendulum, the pendulum moves from the center towards one extreme and then it is again directed towards the center. From the center it will go to the other end and again it is directed to the center. So this is called as a simple harmonic motion. The motion of the projection of a particle moving round a circle with uniform angular velocity on a diameter. You can see here on this entire circle. If you see a particular particle, it is moving in this fashion. So this is nothing but an SHM. A sine wave, a cos wave is also an SHM. Amplitude is the maximum displacement of a vibrating body from the mean position. So this central line is say the mean position. You can see here this is the maximum amplitude, and this is the maximum amplitude on the other side. So this is one amplitude and this is the other amplitude. Same way for this one, this particle here, this is the amplitude which you can see on both the ends. Harmonic motion as the projection of the end of a rotating vector. You can see here, it's the same thing that we just saw. Projection on the horizontal axis. X is a cos omega t. This is the cos wave. And projection on the y-axis will be a sine wave, as you can see here. Time period t is given as 2 pi by omega. And frequency is always 1 upon time. It is omega upon 2 pi. Unit of frequency is hertz and of time is seconds. Next, we will talk about the term degree of freedom. A system is said to be n degrees of freedom system if it needs n independent coordinates to specify completely the configuration of the system at any instant. So, if you talk about this pendulum, the degree of freedom at this fixed end is 0. When I talk about this ball or the bob as you can call, this has motion in this direction. So this is the degree of freedom. It means it is free to move in a particular direction and at the same time it is constrained to move in some other direction. These two are single degree of freedom, as you can see. And here also you can see this is a spring and mass, both are moving along the x-axis. If you see this rod which is attached to this disc, this is free to move in this way, in rotation direction. So this is also single degree of freedom system. This last one is the 2 degree of freedom system because this mass m1 is moving with respect to k1. Also there is some effect of k2 and m2 on it. Same way m2 is dependent on these spring and mass system. That is why this is 2 degree of freedom system. You can see your x1 and x2, they are the displacements of mass m1 and m2 respectively. Next we will see the vibration classification. There are two types of classification mainly, free vibration, forced vibration. The vibration of a system because of its own elastic properties is called as free vibration. No external exciting force acts in this case. A small disturbance of the system from its rest position can initiate the free vibration. The system vibrates with its own natural frequency. In free vibration, a small excitation is given and the body is free to move. This excitation can be self-generated or it could be effect of some other external source. But there is no constant force acting on it. So only an excitation initially is given. When you talk about forced vibration, there is an effect of external force which is continuously acting on the body. The vibrations which the system executes under an external force, often a repeating type of force, is called as forced vibration. The frequency of vibration in this case is the same as that of excitation. So whatever force or frequency is exerted on it, with the same frequency the body is going to move. But that doesn't happen in case of free vibration. It will be excited by a particular force and it will move with its own natural frequency after that. So you can see here, these are certain examples. A pendulum swings back and forth. So initially it can get excitation and it can then continue moving with its own natural frequency. A floating body bobs up and down in the water. The same thing can be understood for this example. A mass goes up and down on the spring. Say a simple excitation is given. Then because of potential and kinetic conversion between the spring and this mass, it will continue to move with its own frequency. And the same thing happens with these strings. You just give it a single motion and then it will keep on moving with its own natural frequency. So these are all free vibration. Here if you see a vibrating motor is continuously given some electric power and hence it is moving with the help of an external source, and this is an example of forced vibration. The same explanation holds for vibrating fans. Next we will see the term natural frequency. The frequency of free vibration of the system is natural frequency. It is constant for a given system. But having said this, a body can have more than one natural frequency. Resonance, the vibration of the system when the frequency of the external force is equal to the natural frequency of the system. The amplitude of vibration at resonance becomes excessive. It is actually more than the frequency with which it should have been actually vibrating. So we have already discussed about resonance before. Next we will talk about phase difference. It is the angle between two rotating vectors representing SHMs of the same frequency. Undamped and damped vibration. If no energy is lost or dissipated in friction or other resistance during oscillation, the vibration is known as undamped vibration, which means there is no damping effect and no energy is lost because of damping. If any energy is lost in this way, however, it is called damped vibration. In many physical systems, the amount of damping is so small that it can be disregarded for most engineering purposes. However, consideration of damping becomes extremely important in analyzing vibratory systems near resonance, because as I told you, resonance is a very important study wherein the body's natural frequency, which is really high, is tapped by an external load or frequency acting on it, and because of that the amplitude becomes much more than the tapped amplitude, and it is actually going to be quite high, and it can lead to a catastrophic effect like a bridge can break down because of resonance. So damping at this end is very important so that catastrophic failures can be avoided. Another classification of vibration is linear and non-linear vibration. If all the basic components of a vibratory system, the spring, mass and damper, behave linearly, the resulting vibration is known as linear vibration. I think this is self-explanatory. If, however, any of the basic components behave non-linearly, the vibration is called non-linear vibration. The differential equations that govern the behavior of linear and non-linear vibratory systems are linear and non-linear respectively. If the vibration is linear, the principle of superposition holds and the mathematical technique of analysis are well developed. We will first take up the linear vibration, and after that at later stages we will talk about non-linear vibrations. Vibration analysis of a physical system. A vibratory system is a dynamic one as the variables such as the excitations, that is inputs, and responses, outputs, are time dependent. To understand the behavior of a physical system, we model it mathematically. Usually we make a discrete model representing it in terms of its basic elements, mass, stiffness and damping. I just showed you this diagram here. This is the basic representation of a vibratory system in the form of spring, mass and damper. Last, we will talk about the steps involved in vibration analysis. First thing that is done is mathematical modeling, wherein you discuss about the equations required, some solution to that differential equation, and then how do you find the constants by applying some boundary condition, and then lastly what you do is you interpret the results. So this is the basic way of solving of a vibration problem, and these are the steps for it. So we will be discussing this in the further lectures, whatever derivations are there and what are the formulas required for various vibration system. So with this I end the session. I hope you have understood the basics of vibration. If you have any doubts, please write to me in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon for latest video updates. See you in the next session. Thank you.